Good morning, everybody. It's Cinnamon Cootie, your art Sherpa. If you're here on replay, it may not be morning, but right now live, it is. I'm your art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you how to paint an angel in the clouds. Do we have picture-in-picture, Mr. Cooney?
We do.
On the mic today is my husband, John, and what he does is he tracks me with several cameras, reads comments, so if you guys have questions during the live, he can ask them of me, and make sure we have nice little features like picture-in-picture so we all know what we're painting today. That's always a fantastic thing. I hope you guys are so ready to just start the day with Creative Vibe. I have my, I think I've got the branding all hidden. I have nondescript international, I guess now, coffee conglomerate to start my morning. It's must start. And I'm just ready to go. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Did people wake up?
Oh my gosh, everybody is here.
Somebody woke up?
Oh yeah.
Besides us.
It's like everybody's just, the room is still filling up. It's like 200, 210, 220.
I really kind of thought there was going to be like 10 of us this morning going, I got my coffee. It's good. It's got my art.
No. Elizabeth's like, it's 3 p.m. in Holland. It's totally a reasonable time to see you.
That's fantastic. We were hoping that would do that so that some of our friends living in different time zones on this beautiful, beautiful marble we call Earth could come paint with us.
Yes.
So guess what? You're here for wishes time. Let's talk real quick about materials.
Okay.
I have an 11 by 14 canvas board. These canvas board comes in packs, and they're already gessoed. You don't have to do anything else to them. They should be ready to paint. Over here, I have a very simple color palette, a titanium white phthalo blue, and this actually caused a bunch of questions actually already before. Burnt sienna. And I also have gloss glazing liquid. Now, this is a slow drying extender for acrylic colors. What they mean by that is it slows the drying time and it lets you use less paint. And this also is a glaze. Could have said end glaze, but it's also glaze, which means you can just tint. It's very nice. And the reason we have a little bit of the burnt sienna is we need to deepen the blue at the upper edges of the atmosphere. And so there's just a smidge of this just in case I need it to richen up those colors.
Cool.
Technical term. Make the colors better.
We have a lot of people here in chat this morning. Oh, yeah. The room's filling up fast. We're getting close to our 300.
I really expected to be alone.
Oh, no.
I didn't expect to make a Sherpa today. If you're brand new here, if this is your first live because you're like, who's live at 8 a.m.? We do a little dance when we hit 300, so that's always fun. But look, full candor, not a good dance. It's not like, wow, she can really throw down. That girl's got some more. It's really awkward, but it's fun, and I highly suggest you join us.
Yeah, we just like to celebrate a little bit. And it's so funny because Bright Eyes says it's 11 p.m. in Japan. And Robbie was like, this is way too early for it to be civilized and be awake, but I am just going to watch today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch. She's just, I'm
Believe it or not, John will verify this. I get up and paint.
Yes, you do.
And I paint all day.
Yep.
And then I do it again the next day.
What'd you like?
We have wishes on the canvas today. If you're really new here, sometimes we have people who send in wishes, and we like to put them in the canvas and paint over them and hopefully send some positivity into the universe. And today's wishes are Tina wishes for peace of mind for her son and relief from fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is definitely something that impacts our community.
Yes.
So I would love to see like cure and understanding for this illness. Kaylee Joe is looking for some healing in her gallbladder. And then also some healing of the heart for Marike and Stephanie and Bonnie, who've all gone through loss recently. And also for Jana, who's facing loss. You know, we just wish for everybody who's just going through something that you just have a bit more joy and healing in your life today.
Put a quick wish in there for our own little Lisa, who's going to get some testing today. We wish the best of her for her.
Love for Lisa in white paint. Sorry, Lisa. That's what I had at the easel.
So,
all right.
Thank
we
you
ready
guys.
to talk some brushes?
We're definitely. You got our materials list there?
I do. We
got our materials.
We already did, but we got to talk brushes.
Oh,
Let's come over to the pad cam, and then we're going to start painting.
Okay.
So just so you guys know, because some of you guys were worried that this was all going to be just my cloud brushes, right? So the TheArtSherpa clouds, and we are going to use those. But listen, you can use a bristle brush. Look at this. This is just a number 4 Bristle Bright. These are also little bristle brushes. If you're using all hog bristles, you're just going to need to have a few of them, or a towel to dry them out, right? Because when they get soft, when they get wet, they get soft and mushy. I'm pulling out, these are brand new, so I'm pulling out their extra little dudes, right? So we've got these here. I've got several bristles. I've got some scrumbles. And then I have some nice big wides. These are nice little stiff white nylons. They come in a 3-pack. They're really economical for blending in the background. So it's not that you have to have a particular brush. Yes, I'm going to show my cloud brushes, but I'm also going to show you guys some of how you're going to use this. Just any stiff, bristle, fluffy, crazy brush you have. In fact, if there's a brush you've been looking at going, what am I going to do with this brush? Because it's all crazy. Or if you have a Deerfoot stippler, those will work too. Let's start getting our background in.
Okay.
I'm so excited to do that. So I'm going to come with my 1-inch. I'm going to get this wet and drag off the extra water. One of the reasons that I like synthetic bristles, well, they're not really bristles, they're filaments, for acrylic paint is they don't hold too much water. And I'm going to come and pull this out, just the blue. And I'm going to add, look here, how little, just the corner of my brush, the burnt sienna into this. Not too much. If you add too much, it'll make the sky go green. A little glazing liquid to improve the flow. And I'm going to come up here at the top. And isn't that surprising? You wouldn't have thought it took a little tiny bit of burnt sienna, but it does, to get that rich sky color.
That's interesting.
So I'm going to just get that right there at the top. I'm going to pull a little of it down the sides here, but not across, just kind of almost like in a picture frame.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to be creating this sort of atmospheric effect. And we want the deep dark color.
Now, I know that this is
coming across here. Yeah?
I know that, we're
adding a little white to my mix over here. A little bit of white. Not a lot, a little bit.
So can I ask an artist question?
You can ask artist questions.
Okay,
You can ask other questions. But if you ask math questions, I don't have a lot of answers for you.
Or spelling.
Spelling, I have no answers for you.
Do spelling.
If you, this is how you know it's me. I misspelled it.
No, the reason you know it's Cinnamon is because she capitalizes random things that she thinks should be emphasized.
What is this girl talking about?
Why is pool in the middle of this emphasized?
As I'm going, I'm adding a little white, a small amount, and you can see that's giving me a bit of this sort of effect where the sky is getting lighter a little bit. Kind of in the center here where we're going to have our angel. You said you had an artist question for me, Mr.
I
Cooney.
do.
As I'm adding white to my paint and going down, we got to explain what we're doing and answer questions.
I was going to let you keep going. Okay, so I've noticed that a lot of the Sherpats here in chat name their brushes.
Name their brushes.
They name their brushes. So they'll talk about how, like, I was just noticing, and what struck me is Elizabeth was just saying that she named her gesso brush Big Bertha.
Oh, good for you, Elizabeth.
And so I know that you...
Big Bertha is a great, honorable brush name.
So, and I was just curious, and I've seen other people talk about their brushes in the same way, and I know you called yours Goldilocks.
Yep.
And so is this a common thing? And
This is a common thing because these babies, these are our friends. This gets me through the painting, right? I love my brushes. My brushes make me happy.
So
Smidge of this
I thought that was kind of funny, and I was like...
burnt over here because I got to load up, and then a lot more white because we're going down. We want to keep lightening the sky as we go down. Yes, name your brushes. In the comments after the show, if you're here on the replay, tell me the names of your brushes.
Oh, that would be good. Yes, definitely. If you because the chat it doesn't live forever.
Yeah.
So if you come in and put your brush name in the comments below, that'd be great.
I'm going to wipe off this brush because it has a lot of blue in it, so that I can do all the rest just into my white. I've dipped my brush in a little bit of water, dragging off the extra. And I'm coming into my white paint because as I'm going down, I want this lighter all the way down. Blue, but definitely lighter than the top. What's funny?
Silver Sky Cloud says, I've had a hard time enough having to think up names for video game characters and role-playing game characters.
It's like, I can't name my brushes.
I can't do my...
too much naming.
Oh no! Now that it has crossed over into the sci-fi fantasy, because then it can be like left-wing paint slinger.
That's what you would name your brushes. I test when we have new brushes to come in for testing. Sometimes I have John try them out.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to see what he likes in a brush. Because he doesn't really paint. And so he'll be like, oh, I like this. This is the one I would use all the time.
It is. And
such strong feelings. So I'm just making sure my whole canvas is covered. Right? You can see that I'm going back and forth horizontal on my brush stroke. And I was moving very quickly through the canvas. And the reason I was moving quickly through the canvas is even with my extender, I have acrylic paint and it dries very quickly. That's kind of what acrylic does. Mm-hmm. It's sort of how it's different than oil. And so sometimes I will move very fast to try to work my paint wet into wet. When I'm trying to blend, what I'm trying to do is one of the 3 ways of blending, and I've demo blending before, is blend wet areas into wet areas, because where the 2 edges are wet, I can soften them with my brush and blend them together and get that nice, soft oil effect. Acrylic paints are amazing, but we struggle for our soft edges. We kind of own our hard edges. Hard edges are acrylic painters. We own our hard edges, but it's really hard and challenging for us to get soft edges. So that's just something that, if you're like, why is that girl moving so fast? Now I'm going to do a little thing here. I've rinsed my brush out just because it's got a lot of paint in it. Even if I'm using the same color, sometimes, you got to rinse your brush out. Yeah. And I'm going to come just deepen this a little bit here.
You're over 300.
Oh, let's give it a dance. I can do that before I hit my...
Can you? Because we've been over 300.
It's the morning. I'm good. I'm a morning person.
Yeah. We're over 350 people, too. It's like we had plenty of people show up in the morning. So I think we could do our morning thing again. And there's a lot of people are loving chat. So, guys, we like to dance when we get to 300 because we like to celebrate when we get together. And it's a good time in the morning or at night to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes so you can get up and remember that we're celebrating being alive by painting today, right?
Sherpazoids!
Sherpazoids are dancing, that's right.
I told you it was going to be good dance. Just fun. I'm going to take just some pure blue. Again, a little edge of the burnt sienna, just very little, in my glaze, my glazing medium.
Glazing.
And I'm going to just make sure that I have very softly deepened. See how I'm feathering this in?
And that's how you're softening those edges?
Yeah, and so I'm softening those edges. So I've got a glaze on it. Pigment load's pretty light. Let's come here, load up, load up. More glaze, more glaze. Just making sure, because sometimes our paint can be thin. And you might find that your sky needs 2 layers to have the richness that you're looking for. I'm going to get more glaze on there. Glaze, glaze, glaze. There we go. Just trying to get that effect in that we're looking for. I may take another brush. This is a nice little fan. And just soften this edge. Any brush that will soften the edge. I'm softening the edge. See how I'm just rubbing this brush along here?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just softening this edge.
You're just sort of scumbling it in.
I'm just softening it. Because I don't want it to be a hard edge. Got a lot going on. I don't need a hard edge. Creating that sort of atmospheric effect. I've got to come back in and blend back, just creating that. See, so I'm coming back.
Yeah. Just
making sure that I've got this little halo, so I'm adding more white.
And you're just trying
too much white there.
You're just trying to add a little bit of that radial and...
Yeah. So there's generally in the sky, there's 2 gradients that we're worried about. There's a gradient from top to bottom and a radial gradient of some implied sunlight somewhere.
Because we're on a big round planet.
Yeah, so funny that. So just making sure that I've got that kind of worked out.
You're not one of those flat earthers, are you?
Probably not. Probably not, but I don't judge. You want to paint your painting, to reflect no curvature. Y'all gypsing about it. It's cool. All right, so I'm going to let that dry. I'm actually going to dry this with my hairdryer because the next part is going to really require that my canvas be quite dry because most of the rest of this I'm going to be doing with dry brushing.
Okay. So I will turn this down. And you can go and do that. So I'm going to say thank you guys. Wow. We've got almost 400 people out here. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for all coming this morning. We weren't sure if it was going to be a super exciting morning and a whole bunch of people were going to show up, or if it was just going to be kind of one of those, maybe people will come and the replay would be worthwhile or something. But man, it's been surprising how much you guys are here, and we've had a really nice international crowd. It's been so nice to see everybody from all over. So I think that we're gonna try to do more morning stuff because this has been kind of fun. And I don't know. This is the part of the morning where normally I don't have a whole lot to say, so I'm a lot less ad-libby, I guess. What else can I talk about? She's taking an awfully long time. Well, she asked you to put in the comments after the show, put the names of your brushes and stuff that you have in there. That'll be really cool. And don't forget to go by our website where we have our chat set up and everybody hangs out after the show. Maybe Cinnamon and I will probably be over there after the show this morning, hanging out for a little while because I got some work to do. So you can always catch us over there. And Space Week is coming up. Oh my gosh, we have an entire week of Space Week stuff.
Ooh, Space Week.
Yeah,
I know it looks like Shark Week everywhere, but it's gonna be Space Week.
Well, I wasn't really. I just ran out of things to say. I was like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Good morning, Mr. Cooney.
Good morning. I'm like, I don't even have a cup of coffee.
So the trick that we're going to use to get this effect is, besides dry brushing, we're going to be mixing colors that are subtle values from their background, so we can create this kind of atmospheric effect. So the trick will be that the white, the bright white, it's the very last thing that we're going to even put on the sky, right? And also, before you guys were like, I don't draw, I'm not really sure how I'm going to get this angel in. Right after this, I'm going to make a traceable of the painting, and we're going to upload it to the website. So you can find that at TheArtSherpa.com.
And that's where we'll be hanging out after the show, too, for a little while.
Yeah.
So we'll be in our chat room on TheArtSherpa.com. So
in the red room.
Probably in the red room or one of the rooms in there. Just hanging out.
One of the rooms in there. I'm going to put out a little more white paint. We're so funny. Now I'm going to start out kind of showing these. This is just a Cambridge Bright. This is a number 8 Bright. This is Bristles and Synthetics. If you're using a pure bristle brush, the minute you get that wet, it's going to mush up and soften. So you're going to need to dry it out with a towel regularly to keep it soft enough. Now I'm going to pull a little white into my light sky mixture, and I want this to just be a shade. See how that's the bottom of the sky? I want this to be just a shade lighter than the bottom of the sky. And I'm going to come to the bottom, and I'm going to very lightly put in on the corner some little airy-fairy clouds.
Okay.
See, it's just so soft. Look at me, I'm just going to back and forth, coming up here, making a little cloud. Oh, this little guy, he's just barely there. He's just barely some moisture, right? Collecting in this world. And I'm kind of creating a wind directionality. So you go back and forth, wind directionality. It's a very dry brush. These are just subtle. Let's come and get just a smidge a smidge more white into this blue. Smidge, smidge, smidge. Smidge. Check our smidge. Oh, good. It's very smidgy. See, I'm just going to back and forth, wiggling my brush back and forth, just on the corner. Right? On the corner. Leaving a lot of blue behind this. And I'm trying not to create little circles. I'm not going circular.
So Wendy
Creating these like irregular shapes.
Wendy would like to know, if she used zinc white, would that be okay or helpful in the clouds?
Well, you can use zinc white, and zinc white is a wonderful transparent white, and it will allow some of the pigment to show through from underneath, and so yeah, that is helpful. And if you're familiar with zinc white and use it a lot in your clouds, it's a really fantastic tool. I'm going to come here and add a little more of this, see? This is just creating a little bit of the cloud effect. See, we're starting to create that atmosphere. Choo, choo, choo. Smidge blue over here. I might need some more white. And I'm not adding any water to my brush. None. Right? Loaded my pigment through. There's a nice kind of more powerful little cloud formation over here that I'm going to talk about.
So do you have to push down more where you want more paint to come out?
So the harder you press, the wider and more authoritative your stroke's going to ever be. Right? And then if you're trying to do a dry brush, see, it's a very light pressure.
Or it's just sort of skimming over the top of it?
It's just skimming over the top. And it's really, really, I'm going to just make sure this is lighter than my sky. But see, we're starting to put these little guys in here.
Trying to get you
These little thoughts, these little cloud thoughts that are back here. And my brush is just going back and forth, like just pressing it back and forth. And you can start to see them come to life. Coming to life down here. Little back and forth on the corner. You could be using my my cloud brush here as well. You've got my cloud brushes just to get a nice little scumble. But again, just a bristle brush will do it. We're just trying to talk about these just far away little cloud banks. Now I can come in and add a little more white to my brush. Right? Make sure I've still got some blue pigment on here. See how there's still some blue in those bristles? And just add, like over here, a little thought, a little more thought. Let's load up back up again. Let's talk about just along this one, see? Just barely, barely, barely. We're just saying, hey, there's some stuff, guys. Can you see the stuff? I'm going to add some down here in the corner. These are these airy, fairy little stratus. They're just dancing along. My brush is dirty with a little blue pigment. Come right here. Maybe look. And I'm trying not to repeat shapes, right? Because clouds are
unique.
Yeah, they're all unique. They make.
Clouds make snowflakes, and no two snowflakes are the same.
I love it. Clouds make snowflakes. So true. I don't know why that was so funny to me. It just hit as funny this morning. So
Weather
you can see
humor.
I'm just finding the edges of the clouds that I put in. And so that's how I get this like sort of really, sometimes it's hard to imagine. How are you going to paint something that's super far away and see-through? Isn't it? It'd be mentally hard, but actually it's just, you know, just a little technique. Load up a little more white because there's a stronger cloud bank here.
Feels sort of like you could go on a spiritual journey of painting things like that. You start out with glass, then clouds, then water.
You probably could.
I will paint all the things
I'm going to paint all the
cannot
things
see.
you can't see.
All right. So there we go. We've got a nice little airy fairy little cloud bank going on, and it's just all nice little dry brush. And you can see it's just light, light, light.
Yeah.
Light, light, light. And this is about letting the canvas show through underneath. It is about trying to mix a color that's just a shade or two lighter than the background color, because clouds are essentially moisture, and they're very impacted by light. They cast shadows, they have shape, light shines through them. And so you're always kind of working with those little effects within them. I'm a sippy. I'm going to rinse out my brush now. It's going to make it all... It doesn't make it... This has synthetic filament, so it won't make this one that mushy. But it definitely mushes up your brush. So you can see you can just do this, right, with a bristle brush.
Yeah.
Or your favorite cloud brush or your favorite beat up brush. I'm sipping.
Okay.
I'm going to draw in my angel in a second. And I'll talk to you guys about that. So just to have some guidance for what I'm doing for her.
Some guidance.
And then again, traceable for you guys if you're not into drawing. And no, that's not cheating. If this is your first live with me and you're like, is tracing cheating? No. It's an art skill. Have to use it all the time.
There's a lot of first timers in chat.
Are there?
There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay. So here's the deal. Like if I'm gonna do a beautiful piece of watercolor, right? And I went and got myself a really nice piece of Arches, 300-pound paper, and I spent like $10 on it. I'm not gonna work out my sketch on that Arches paper. I'm gonna do that on tracing paper. I'm gonna do studies. I'm gonna think about it. And when I finally resolve my idea and I feel like I've nailed it, I'm gonna put that on tracing paper and transfer it to my watercolor paper. It's an art skill. They like teach it to you in art school.
Yeah.
Got to be able to do it.
Yeah, because
Definitely not cheating.
that art and sometimes you use artisan papers, like where an artist made the paper one off.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like, man, that's irreplaceable paper. So you want to make sure whatever you're going to put on there, you've practiced a couple times, or
Yeah.
unless you don't want to, and then that's a whole different process.
That's a whole different process. It's your process. It's your process. Art is your process. This is your time. I'm going to sharpen this little sucker. So this is a General's white charcoal pencil. You could also use, oh gosh darn it, it did that thing it does.
What thing did it do?
That thing where it breaks my chalk.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys have this. So
I can't see. So your hands are
take
down
my
low.
tools and fix my broken pencil. It's okay. I have kids' chalk I can sharpen if it gets really crazy on me.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you share your house with, say, other people like children, and they borrow your art supplies and they drop your pencils, then all your leads are broken inside the pencil.
Yeah, that's a good thing to note. So if you have high-end pencils, like watercolor pencils or colored pencils, don't drop them. Because
if you can avoid it.
If you can avoid it, because you can shatter you can break the lead inside there, so that when they'll pull out.
Some really great ones apparently kind of have shatterproof lead inside, like the whole way they make it.
Oh, neat.
They're
That's
less
good to
likely to shatter. All right, so I'm going to start by putting in my angel's face. And basically, I'm going to just curve a line here. It's about the size of my thumb. And I'll come back and I'm just making a basic shape of her face. I'm going to come and add noses and all kinds of things, as I'm painting. Right? I just erased some line and I curved in her forehead to her eye socket and pulled out her jaw. Because if you think about it, a skull is a circle with a square on it.
Oh, yeah.
But she doesn't have a skull. She's an angel, so she's totally good. And she's got some nice curvature, so we're going to definitely want to talk about that. So this is the gesture of her. And I just need to know where that is, right? And she's got some wings that are going to come up here, so talking about those shapes. Some wings up here. Then we're going to talk about, and of course, and I really love this, is her little cloudy hair coming off. And I don't want to sketch too much because every line on her, but I'm going to soften this with my finger. I can also erase these with a wet brush and clean water.
Oh, yeah.
And I am going to get my cloud brush out. You can get a very, very small bristle brush. Any of that's completely fine. And I'm going to start in on her face, but I'm going to need to get a blue that's lighter than the background. We're doing the same thing we did down here, right?
Let's see, watch. This is where she'll mess with me. We're going to start on the face, and then she's going to go start on the bottom of the dress.
Start on the face.
Or the wings.
I'm going to just
There you go.
very lightly moving my brush around. Moving my brush around. Just start to talk about this cloud space. It is going to be lighter. I'm just getting some more blue on my brush. than the background, but still, right? Because this is going to be all about these subtle values. Just pull this here. Let's bring this down here.
Now you keep rotating your brush around in your hand.
I do.
You
I
spin it
rotate
around
this.
a
I'm
lot.
finding new little bits of pigment to work with, and notice that my color here is all like just a shade lighter than the background. Just a shade lighter than the background. And the trick with these brushes and any scumble brush is you want, if you're doing a dry brush, you do want your background to be dry. Because if this are still slightly tacky or sticky, it would be very hard for me to move my brush lightly along the surface. I'm going to rinse this out. Now what's nice about these is as they get wet, they don't get mushy. They stay very stiff. And all I've got to do is just take the moisture out of them.
And that's because they're a cyborg brush.
Cyborg brush. I'm going to make some more of my background blue. I'm going to take a smidge of my burnt sienna over to my phthalo and just make sure some of that is tinted here as it needs to be. Right? Just a little bit tinted up here. So I can easily get my background colors a-going. I'm going to take, this is my bigger cloud. This is a number 8 cloud. You could do right here, you could do like a number 4 bright and a bristle. See how those are kind of very similar? I'm going to get a little of this blue on my big cloud. Come over to my white, and I'm mixing a color that's just a shade lighter. In my background, I'm going to come work these little wings here. Get a little more blue. So this is really going to be about, can I get just a little lighter? And I'm just going back and forth.
Oop.
Right? Just back and forth a little bit. Making these wings. See? Look at that, just coming up there, leaving that open. These are like these little strata clouds. And I'm trying to make sure that these are not completely the same line. See how some of these are longer and shorter? Trying to make sure that's happening. I'm going to come to this side and start putting in the implication of the other cloud wing here. In clouds, you know, go light, go less. This is a great time to practice some expressive restraint. So in other words, you want to be really loose and you want to be really free. A little bit of this, a little bit of this, just trying to make a nice light color. It's going to feel lighter than the background, but not white. Alright, so I'm just pulling this. Adding a little more white to that mixture. You can see me pulling that in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can be using a number 4 bristle bright. Just pulling this in. Ah, such a joy. Just lightening up. We're going to come down and just really, let's pick a nice little spot. See, this is much lighter. We're going to go up, down. We're still going to remember what we think about clouds, right? And how they're random. So, because if we just make a dress, it's not going to feel like a cloud. We have to make it feel like her dress is made of cloud. Now her front edge here I'm going to definitely lighten. I might pull some little cloud bit out there because I want it to feel like cloud.
Yeah.
We can get a little bit lighter down here. And I'm pushing around, making it Look at that. It's starting to happen, right?
Starting to get cloudy out there.
Starting to be cloudy. Cloudy, cloudy, cloudy.
I wonder how many meteorologists are painting this with us.
I bet they're like, this is some very weird wind currents and temperature variables.
I would
today.
love to hear from any meteorologists,
Explain how this happened.
any weather people who are like,
Obviously Photoshop. But
they'd be like, no, this is a common occurrence of the western cumulus nimbus.
we see these all the time. Try not to freak people out.
They only migrate south in the winter.
So I've got some nice bright white here, and I'm just pulling this little high spot of cloud right here. See how we're pulling a high spot?
Hmm?
We're telling the story. I'm going to make this dress a little,
So you can see how you're...
just maybe a little bit here. Not a lot, right?
Yeah.
We're being really mellow. Let's get back into our little blue. And a little more white into it. And see, this is just a shade lighter than that first blue we put down.
making layers.
And I'm just bringing these out. Look at that. Another layer of cloud. And see how there's sort of the sky showing through, so it really feels like these are a formation.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really fun piece to do. I probably will visit this subject again in some other ways. I'm very much enjoying this. I love clouds. This is just bringing it back and forth. You can see I'm just being random. Like a cloud will be random. If you dig down and go like that. And
We do have a Sherpa named Windy with us.
Wendy! Hi!
She was like, "Does that count?"
Streets of the city. Sorry.
She was like,
I got to deal with Cinnamon Girl. You got to deal with Wendy. You know it. She knows it. We know it. All right. So see here, like at the top of this upper wing here, like they did this sort of like interesting little cloud shape where they remembered, oh, clouds make weird little shapets. And you got to be like, yeah, I know, man. I know my cloud's got to make some shapes. There we go. How fun is this? So she's starting to come together, isn't she?
yeah.
She's tripping out. I'm going to just kind of scrumble a little. My brush is very dry, and I'm just adding a little atmosphere right there. Just a little cloudiness. Just a little airiness. Now on the front of her dress, I'm going to take a little more white on my brush. I'm still going to mix it into the blue, but this is going to be quite a light color.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just push this around and make sure that that's sort of defined.
Yeah. I'm going to give an art high fives to Eric, who's in Vegas doing a breathing treatment while watching today.
Hi, Eric. I wish you breathe well. I
See,
really do, man. It is not fun not being able to breathe.
I look forward to seeing Eric's painting when he's
I
back
do.
out. So
This is a good... Oh, see, she's
really-
appearing.
yeah,
Like
just
she's
kind of
developing.
developing in the clouds. That's really awesome.
That's what she's doing. So I'm going to get a smaller brush. You can switch down to a smaller bright. I'll show you this next bit I'll do with this bright right here. So you
Okay.
guys can see me do this.
Okay.
So you guys know it's true. It can be done. I'm going to come and get just a little of this white
Okay.
on my brush. I'm going to let some of the blue get into it. And I'm going to come here on the corner of my brush. See? Just on the corner. Making a little interesting cloud shape.
Just
And just on the edge here. Let's pull that out.
and these and you wouldn't think about all these color layers are really important to create that depth on the cloud.
It really is. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel like you're looking. Now I'm going to just brush these out. Had a real natural phenomenon, does it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Looks blown out on my screen, so hopefully it's all
There you
good
go.
for
Oh
you
yeah,
guys.
no, it's looking really cool.
Okay. Just, I need some more thought in her bodice here. And then I'm going to come down into her skirt, maybe. Look at her happen. She's a foot, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So, see, it's not, you know, I say a lot, the magic is in you, the only part of the painting that's essential is you. But this is what I mean. It's, tools are wonderful, and you can change out tools, and your preferences may change over time. Just back and forth on a real dry brush. Right? And some tools do make certain tasks a joy. I love my cloud brushes because they make that task a joy.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do it with my finger if I have to. The cloud is in me. It's in here. It's in here. That's
Yes.
where my cloud is. The tool is just an extension or expression of that.
Oh, I see why everyone was asking if we were from Ohio. Because you're
Oh.
wearing a Canton, Ohio shirt. And they were like, are you guys from Ohio? I'm like, no, we're from Texas.
We're from Texas.
Our shows are, in Canton, Ohio. You tell them.
Canton, Ohio has a really fantastic
Channel 15?
public broadcasting.
Channel 15.
And Trent, he runs that, and he's a Sherpette, and there's Sherpa days.
Oh, yeah.
Whole Sherpa broadcast days. So sometimes I like to wear my Canton, Ohio shirt to sort of shout out my Canton support because they really support us up in Canton.
Memorial Day.
Memorial
Is
Day
gonna
is going to
be-
be an all-day Sherpathon, and I think
First Monday.
there's a way to watch it on the
They have a Roku.
Roku.
And if you go to their
He's
their
like,
website.
it's so funny. He's like over there signing and like trying to will this information into my brain, like a Roku thingy. I don't know what that. I just got YouTube TV, so
And that actually, we rather enjoyed that. You were like, I like my YouTube TV.
I do. I like my YouTube TV. All right, so I'm going to keep coming in here. I'm going to really kind of, this wing has got, you know, a lot more happening there. We're just pushing this in, right? Pushing this in. We can feel these things afoot. There's a little bit of an airy bit back there. See how we're going?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to rinse this out. I'm going to get back into my clouders.
Clouds.
Clouds. We're almost done. We're doing so good. I'm going to get my small number 4 clouding brush. And I'm going to finish out her little facey here.
Hmm.
So I'm going to load up some blue again. Blue pigment all loaded around my brush. I'm gonna, as you can see, I'm kind of pushing it out. And I guess I got to get more white.
Oh, Frisky Chrissy pointed out, she's like, maybe it's, I think it's Labor Day. So
Labor Day.
Labor Day is coming up.
Thank you.
And what it is that Memorial Day, they did one, I think, 2. And there was a graphic that we had that was for the upcoming Memorial Day, which was supposed to be Labor Day. But you know how all this stuff works.
Thank you, team.
Thank you,
I don't.
guys.
It's morning, and we're coughing up, aren't we? We're just hanging out together and starting our day artfully. We're just starting our day artfully. I'm trying to mix a mid blue here, and I'm gonna come here and see. Ups, could be a little deeper, just a smidge, because we're just trying to create light values.
And art high fives to the Brown family who's painting with us.
Oh, our high fives. I am so excited the Brown family is painting with us.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to wiggling back and forth telling a beautiful little hair story here, right? Now I'm going to come in and get some more white on my brush. Just more white. It's still got the blue pigment on it, so don't have to worry about it being overly bright. So I can come here just very carefully and tell a little story of could be a little face. And we're just going to give her some little flowy, poofity little hairs. Poofity little hairs. There you go. See, I'm just very gently light with my brush, creating delicate space. And trying to create some cloud-like forms, some like same things I do big, like ups and downs, and look at that.
Wow.
We're just making some hairs. Come with my little delicate brush and a lot of white and tell some different little cloud stories. And her, and I think we're getting to the space where she is pretty much...
So you're just building up the layers until you have that sort of dimensionality to her that you like.
Till she's the angel that you have in your head and your heart.
Yeah. It just sort of comes together.
You know, and I'm just going to extend her wings because that's what I need. I need to see those extended.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks really cool.
And I feel like less is more here. I'm going to make sure that I've got some nice defined banks.
And as you step back from it, you can really see, you know, so I'm over your shoulder camera because you can really see as you get back away. Because when you get close up on it, you can see the layers. You know,
Yeah.
it divides.
And then hopefully
itself
when
up.
you get back, you see your angel. Now, at the end of all of this, hopefully you're super proud of yourself.
Oh,
and
it
like,
looks so good.
I painted a total cloud angel in the sky. Your friends would be like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? Whoa! Hopefully that's the reaction I'm always going for online, right? Let's give this a signature.
Oop.
Well, I would sign this, but I didn't take my little sealing lid off. There you go. There's some good paint on there, so I'll just use that. So what I have here is my small detail brush. This is like a number 0 detail. Has a nice fine edge. I'm going to load up. This is fluid paint. I always keep some in my studio just because it's... So see, this is heavy bodied. It has a lot of structure. This is fluid. It's very soft and flowing. It's nice for making little lines and little bits of something. And I'm going to come here, hit the edge here, and just make a nice little signature that feels like it's part of this world. I really liked doing this morning event. That was really actually quite nice for me. I hope you guys had a great time.
Everyone did. Everyone unanimously said they had a fantastic time. And I think that we got to talk to a lot of people who we didn't get to see normally.
From all over the world. Hi, everybody from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody from everywhere. You got to love YouTube. Our families are so big on YouTube. Just go all over the place on our art family and our Sherpettes, which are everywhere. Definitely you can come join us on the website. The live chat continues after the show.
Yeah, we'll be on there for a little while this morning. We got a little work to do, so we're going to be out hanging out, seeing everybody. We love
more
you
painting
guys.
to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got to paint some more after this. So I'm going to finish my coffee, and then I got to do a whole other painting. Mm-hmm. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at the easel really soon. Bye-bye.